Hi, I'm Andrew, an entrepreneur and a computer science student,
Hi, I'm Raveen, a psychology major student.
and you're now listening to the Ink Thoughts podcast, where we ponder and talk about incongruous thoughts ranging from our daily life to the human mind. In the previous episode, we invited Caryn onto our podcast and talked about her journey of being a clinical psychologist, a taekwondo instructor, and creating a social storybook with her friends. In this episode, we shall dive deeper into talking about mindfulness and the whole mental health industry in general. Hope you guys enjoy.
Do you think it's like, isn't it harder for you to like unwire what they have been thinking? Like, I have ADHD, I have PDS, and everything. Then tell them, no, you just have depression.
Correct. So some, with psychoeducation, they can, but some they're still convinced otherwise because they read more online, so then it makes the treatment process a little bit harder. Yeah. Because you have to struggle with them with this first, right? To convince them that, it's this, let's focus on this, yeah.
Have you ever heard any of your clients saying like, no, you don't know about me, you're not a good psychologist, something like this?
Okay, I have never faced anything so confronting before. But I have clients who maybe they want to seek a second opinion, which I fully support. So, I will just explain to them about my impression because at the end of the day, you don't spend as much time with them. You spend maybe an hour a week or, 2 hours a week at the most, but they themselves know themselves best, right? So I would share with them my impression based on what they have shared with me. So the symptoms or whatever background history, and I would share with them why I think it's this way and what can we do about it if it's like this. Okay, and why I think it's this diagnosis. So then I would encourage them to bring my opinion or my impression to their psychiatrist and get a second opinion, get a diagnosis from them as well. Yeah. So I find that normally that's.
I think I quite like how you actually see this thing, like, because sometimes even though we know that it's not my problem, but we might still take it quite personally, like when people just don't trust me or something. Yeah.
Correct. Of course, it has to be delivered with the utmost sensitivity and care and empathy.
Yeah.
You can't just outright tell the patient, no, you don't have this. It's you're wrong. Internet's wrong. Cannot like that. Yeah. And I find that most understand. If you put yourself kind of in their shoes, you try to empathize in their struggles and difficulties, the diagnosis usually doesn't matter so much. What they see is you hear me. Yeah. You hear that I'm struggling, and that's the most important part.
That's nice.
Yeah, I think recently I've been attending a few kind of like career talk related to like professional psychology pathway. Then I heard about someone saying like nowadays in the UK the clinical psychologists, they usually the clinical psychologists and those assistants, they tend not to prefer, not like prefer, but if they have a choice between like formulation a whole case comparing to having a very solid diagnosis, they prefer doing the formulation way so that they take into account of everything instead of just focusing
having
on
a label.
the symptom and just so focus on that one single thing instead of taking account into about their whole life and everything.
I completely believe in this approach as well. That's what I always tell my clients. Why is the diagnosis so important? Why is labeling this condition so important? The whole reason why we want to label it is to find a form of suitable form of treatment, right? To understand it, to find a form of treatment. So definitely, if it's not absolutely necessary, I usually don't formally give a diagnosis or assessment. But rather I highlight what are the issues that contribute to their struggle. You know, perhaps because you have a lot of unhelpful kind of thinking style, you know, or perhaps stress is a bit too much. Maybe we need to learn how to cope with it. Maybe we need to do some time management, problem solving. So we focus more on the maintaining factors of the problem, you know, and to strengthen the protective factors, you know, the things that protect them and help them to build resilience. So I would normally direct my clients towards this direction rather than to be so fixated on what is the diagnosis, what's wrong with me.
Yeah, and I think most of the time people tend to seek professional help because they want an answer. Yeah, so the diagnosis is the answer that they want, so they're fixated on that thing.
Exactly. I definitely see a lot of clients like that. So I will ask them, what is the purpose? And sometimes they will tell me exactly this. I just want an answer. I want a sense of resolution. Okay, let's do it then. Okay, but after you find the answer, what next? Then I want to work on it. Okay, let me help you to find the answer. If it contributes to a sense of resolution, then actually it helps them to be more aware, more accepting, and also perhaps more ready to make changes, right? To know that, okay, the issue is really there. It's time for me to make some changes in my life. So maybe that's what they mean by, you know, I need closure. I need to know.
Yeah.
So if it's helpful for you to know, I will help you. Yeah. So then we will, but of course I will tell them also what is needed. Like perhaps we need to spend 1 or 2 sessions just doing some questionnaires, some assessment, you know, rather than diving straight into the treatment. We may need to spend some time to explore more on this issue. Yeah. So if they find that it's worth it, it's something that I need, of course, you know, at the end of the day, the therapy is just a space to facilitate, right? And if the client thinks that that's what they need, then we should help them to achieve that. Also.
Yeah, and I think sometimes I'm not quite sure about the UK one because I haven't really have like direct experience or interaction with any of these settings yet. But sometimes I think maybe people in Malaysia, I heard a few people talking about it before. Like I think they kind of put the intervention thing, and they expect it in a not a very correct way. Like maybe they went to 3 or 4 sessions, then they say, no, it's not helpful. Like, things haven't really started yet. Yeah, but you're expecting you going to 1 session or 2 sessions would change your whole life.
Correct. So this is what I mean by awareness, but not literate. You know, like, I realize I need help, but I don't know what the help entails, you know, what work we need to put in. So I think expectation management is very important between the therapist and the client. So in the first few sessions, important to clarify goals, important to, you know, let them air whatever doubts that they might have, what expectations they have, you know, and to help them understand that, man, to get to where you are today, you know, it took you so many years. So what makes you think that, you know, with 3 hours, we can resolve it, you know, and yeah, so most of the time, if this is very well communicated, then they won't feel this way. But of course, there are some that will still feel this way, but then again, you can only do so much. So, yeah, at the end, it's still their health, their choice. Perhaps they can find some mode of therapy that can help 3-4 sessions.
I think okay, I'm not quite sure currently in Malaysia how do people view this. Like, do they really confuse up like mental health and mental illness? Like sometimes there's just time that maybe your mental health is not at the optimal level because there's so much going through in your life, but they just think that, oh no, might have developed a mental illness and I can't change it back or anything like this.
Yeah, definitely. I think this like confusion between these two terms, it's there. Mental health and mental illness are increasingly used as if they mean the same thing, right? But they actually don't. Everyone has mental health, just like everyone has health. Yeah, but in the course of a lifetime, not everyone will experience a mental illness, but everyone will struggle or have challenges with their mental well-being. And just like we sometimes also have challenges with our physical well-being. When we talk about like our physical well-being, sometimes we just have muscle aches, we don't feel so well, we wake up more lethargic, and we have all these like ups and downs, right? So it's the same with your mental health. Sometimes it's a bit more challenging, sometimes you find you're a bit more burnout, sometimes you're fine, right? So that is mental health. But when we talk about mental illness, it's an illness, like having a physical illness, cancer, diabetes, it's a illness that affects how mental illness is something that affects how people think, how they behave, how they interact with others. Yeah, so there are many different types of mental illness, and they have different symptoms that impact people's life in different ways. Yeah.
Okay.
So, is it different? Is it clear?
Yeah, I guess this is a very good, clarification for many people.
Yeah, so I think good mental health is not just about being happy or confident 100% of the time. Because just like your health, there are ups and downs.
Yeah.
And it's more about like living and coping well despite having problems. And it's entirely possible to have good mental health even with the diagnosis of a mental illness. Because mental illness, like other health problems, they are often episodic. So meaning that there are times or episodes of ill health, but there are also times and episodes of better and good health. So with the right support and tools, anyone can live well. And to find meaning, contribute to their communities, and also work towards their goals with whether you have or have not mental illness.
Okay.
Like, I just thought of one kind of personal question. Because usually, like, when we talk about like self-care and things, we tend to say, journaling, meditation are very helpful. This kind of stuff. Do you really do it yourself?
Do I practice it? Very good question. Okay, journaling I don't. Okay, so journaling I don't. But I try to always share with my clients things that work for me. So what I practice for self-care is more of soothing my senses. Like, how we say grounding with 5 senses? So this is like soothing with 5 senses. So maybe I always try to look at things that I like to see, or I like pleasant scents that I like to smell. I listen to music that I really enjoy, and in sense of touch, I will go for massage maybe once a month. I give myself this kind of luxury. And then sense of taste, maybe cook healthy, wholesome, and really yummy food. So that is something I always tell my patients to do, and that is something I practice as a form of self-care. And meditation I don't do, but mindfulness I find helpful. So I sometimes try that. Yeah, whenever I feel very overwhelmed, then I try. Yeah, I think this has been especially so since I started doing clinical psychology, because I don't want to share something that I don't believe in. So whatever that I study, I try to practice, and then if it works for me, I believe in it, then I share. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you guys do for self-care? What do you guys do for self-care?
Personally, I do journaling, but
Nice.
I try to do it daily. Because I do find it's it's very helpful, especially like when you say you're when overwhelmed. It's very good to just write down your thoughts and something like that, and then it just like clears up your mind, and then it gives you a clearer guidance on what you're actually thinking, what you're actually worrying about. Yeah, something like that. But I used to do meditation on a daily basis where I just sit there and then. But then after I came to the UK, I think studying was quite overwhelming for me, so I kind of stopped doing it. But I think I'm going back for it. But I'm now looking for more of a, because previously I have not don't have much money, so I didn't go for like any guided meditation. So probably now I will go for some guided meditation to see how that might be able to help me to explore newer things to improve my mental well-being.
Definitely, I think journaling, what you summarized about journaling is really great, and I hope your listeners can also practice them, because they help you to process, right, all these complicated, jumbled out thoughts.
Yes.
And once you process it, it doesn't seem so scary anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, and all the best with the meditation. I think this is something I would like to try also. Maybe one day go for like actual guided meditation and see how it is, right? Interesting. What about you, Barry?
I think for me, I also do journaling, but so far I haven't really did it on a daily basis. But I think I kind of prefer to do it when I just feel there's so much in my thoughts running here and there, like it's really making me unable to focus, or there's just so much that I feel like I don't feel well inside. I want to let it out. If I write it down, I can visualize it actually. I can see, okay, actually what I've been thinking all this while, like making me so feeling so terrible. But I try to do it daily, but sometimes I just forget. But I'll definitely do it when there's a lot of stuff in my mind. And previously when I was still back in Malaysia, I make sure that I go to my aerial yoga classes or Pilates classes on a regular basis. Because I enjoy that, and I feel that 1 hour itself is very relaxing for me. Although previously when we were working in the NGO, I feel quite stressful all the time, but that one day itself, like 1 hour itself, makes me feel a lot better that I can continue working the next day.
That's amazing. I think yoga promotes a lot of mindfulness, right? You don't really think about much. You're just very focused. So that helps you to feel more grounded. For the next day.
Now that Vereen said about doing yoga, I just realized that actually, because I do really enjoy running, so I do. It's not really fully like to improve my mental well-being, but then like it does because like it releases my muscle. Like I'm able to work out, I'm able to sweat out a bit. So when I'm stressed, it actually helps out. And right after that, like when I'm really stressed, I would just go for a run, and then after that, I'm just able to think more clearly. And then because like right after that, I'll have a good bath. Basically I'll sweat everything out. So it just makes me more comfortable, and then like more energized, and then I'm able to think more clearly, something like that.
More clear-minded, getting all the excess energy and anxiety out of the way, right? When you do the exercise.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm feeling every time when I finish a run.
Correct. Like even afterward, all the stiff muscle after you run finish, it's all gone. Right? That very light bodily feeling. Definitely, exercise is one of the most important things when it comes to our mental. I think something that we are really lacking of, our generation. The exercise fingers. That's all. It's not enough. Definitely, exercise is something I find that I have to push a lot of patience into doing. Something not quite in the comfort zone.
Exercising in the UK is very weird.
Is it?
It's weird, but then I prefer, I enjoy this weirdness. Okay.
Because the weather here is like very cold, so you don't really sweat.
Even if you run?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, for him, because he run very long distance and he run quite fast, so he sweat a lot. But for me, I went running with him like I think 2 or 3 times since I arrived in the UK. I literally only sweat a bit, and it dries off very quickly.
See, so it doesn't really feel like an exercise, is it?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it doesn't feel as, how do I say it? What's the word? As fulfilling as when you exercise in Malaysia. When you exercise in Malaysia, you get you're so sweated, and then your shirt is like drenched in sweat and something like that. Over here, there might be a little bit around your neck, and then once you finish it, maybe you spend like 5 minutes walking back to your house, and then it's all dried up. And then your clothes is almost fresh as new. Almost. Almost fresh as new. That's the thing. If you do like any kinds of yoga, all this kind of stuff, you practically... the only way you can sweat is like intense cardio, I would say. Yeah, only intense cardio can make you sweat. And then the amount of sweat depends on the intensity. That's it.
It's quite
2 days ago, we went to indoor cycling class for 30 minutes. Yeah, that's the first time that I'm sweating that much. The first time in the UK.
Yeah, and then like we go for Pilates, and then like a few classes, like I think 2 or 3 times a week, and then that's the only time that she sweat that much.
Indoor and high intensity, that's all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. It's like a very convenient way of exercising. You don't have to shower. You don't smell. Change clothes.
Like I guess that's one of the reasons here. People, they actually do use deodorant. Yeah, because like they just don't sweat that much, so it kind of makes sense for them to use it.
Yeah, right. I see it. Because I don't really see the point of using deodorant in Malaysia when you exercise. Because the sweat doesn't just come from one area, it's from everywhere. Right?
Yes, exactly. That's very true.
Yeah. Interesting. So having the classes like 2-3 times a week, so that kind of it kind of make you commit to exercising that amount of times a week, right?
Yeah, I guess another thing that it kind of helps is that because it's both of us that we are here, because we're going it together. So like it's like a commitment for both of us. Like like we promise each other that, and then we'll look after each other. We'll push each other to go. Because luckily either of us would want to go. If like either both of us doesn't want to go, then pretty much we'll just stay on the bed, like just lie down on bed and then just like scroll our phone on bed. But luckily either of us will, at least one person will want to go, then we'll just get to push another person. Okay, let's go for this. It's just like 45 minutes, and then just like enjoy the session.
Yeah, it's always easier with a partner, right? Because you don't always feel good.
But with the like, you need to make sure that the partner is like committed as well. Like if both partner are not committed, then okay, you guys will just be like stay at home. Okay, let's just spend time watching YouTube this whole evening. Something like that.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm guessing both of you are quite committed as of now. So keep it up for the next year.
It's quite because. The thing here, another beautiful thing about the people here is that they are quite committed in what they're doing, and then they are passionate about it. So when we go for our fitness classes and all this, whether it's like Pilates, whether it's like yoga, whether it's like indoor cycling, you can see the passion in them. Like they're actually pushing it. Yeah. So you feel like they are actually trying to help you as well, not just that they are doing a job. They're actually they enjoy fitness, so like we're trying to transfer this skill to you. We're trying to help you, something like that.
And
so
also transfer the joy.
As well.
Right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I enjoy it. I want you to enjoy it too. Nice. That's very nice. That makes the students more eager and more, look forward to going.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so definitely.
I think most of the stuff, most of people over here, they do stuff that they are really passionate in. So no matter it's like fitness or maybe like just lecturers, they're not really just doing their job. They actually want a two-way communication. They want to learn from the student. This is what I have been experiencing ever since I reached here. Yeah. So most of the time, I remember I went up to a lecturer and asked her about something. Then she was like, "Oh, I've never thought of this. This is a very good question. It actually makes me reflect or something." They actually explicitly tell you about it as well.
I guess like more in an Asian context where we look at lectures as like, okay, they are like
authority.
They know everything.
Correct.
They are on top of everything. Like whatever they say is right. Like they don't need to think any further already. We just like need to absorb their knowledge. But then over here you can feel like, okay, they are still they are here because they know something, they are sharing about it, but then at the same time, you can see that they are still active learners. They are still learning from the student, and then they are still joining in the conversation, you know. I'm trying to learn new things as well. Maybe I know all this stuff. I'm trying to teach you all this stuff, but maybe it's not like everything. Like if you know something, let's have a conversation. Let's learn from each other. Something like that.
Yeah, that's really good. So basically the authority, you know, the power gap is not so big, but rather everyone is more...
Yes.
We're learning together. Let's enjoy this thing that we like, you know, that we're passionate about together. And give and take like that.
Yes, exactly.
Very nice. Very nice. I guess that is the mindset that also helps them to make the job more meaningful and more fulfilling. Right? Like even as the worker itself, that kind of mindset is really, really great. Very healthy.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why people here promote work-life balance, mental health stuff in companies that much.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah, like it's quite a huge thing here. Like work-life balance here is quite good. Undeniably good, I say. That's why I'm able to sit here and then like still having this podcast. I don't have work for this weekend. That's the thing.
Very good. So there are very clear boundaries between work and then time for you to rest.
Yeah, so most of our shop actually close quite early.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Sundays, one thing why we chose to do our try to do our podcast on Sundays is because there's not much point to shop to go for shopping on Sunday because imagine like a supermarket like Tesco or now Lotus in Malaysia, they will literally close at like 4 p.m. Yeah, after 4 p.m.
Wow.
they're closed. Like it's like Sunday night, it's like family time. Yeah.
Actually, a lot of Western
and then, of course,
countries
you don't expect offices to be open. Like weekends, offices, most of them are like closed. Like banks, everything. Yeah, they're like closed. Like your companies, no one is working overtime on Saturday, Sunday. It's like no.
So it's the culture, it's also the policies, and it's
yes.
really the system itself supports this work-life balance. And
yes. That's the thing.
Very good. You can see that it's a completely different level to a lot of Asian countries. But I think...
Yes.
Right? Different kind of mentality, I guess. Different kind
I
of...
guess. I mean, like different
values.
worlds have different approach. Like, quite interesting to see which one kind of works out. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I think... Do you still have any questions for Caryn?
I think just because kind of going back into, I guess, like maybe clinical psychologist. So like I just have one question. Like, is there any myth about clinical psychologists? What do clinical psychologists do? Or like people say that, you know, oh, you study psychology? Do you read minds? Something like that. Like any myth that you would like to debunk?
That is a very, very common one. Can you read my mind? Can you read my face? You know, read my mind a bit intense. But nowadays I'm hearing, can you read my face? What am I feeling? You know, what am I thinking? So the truth is no, we are not mind readers. We are clinical psychologists are trained to understand the complexity of human thoughts, emotion and behavior. And it's a scientific method, not a magic show. I can't read your face. So we get whatever observation and information that we can get from you, which is a lot. You know, we spend a lot of time to gather this information, not just in one sweep of my eyes, right? We spend hours, you know, gathering this information to formulate the best possible hypothesis and to, you know, to come with a conclusion to what we say. So some things I say may reflect how you feel, but I'm not reading your mind. It's it's a scientific method. Yeah. And it cannot be done as a party trick. I think a lot of people expect this of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that final clarification.
Yeah, because I usually get asked this in parties, like, show me a fun trick. Can you read my mind?
Show me a fun trick. I didn't study so many years in university, just to come over here and show that I can do something, just so that you can feel that I'm cool.
Yeah, and I think another myth that I kind of find funny and stressful at the same time is sometimes people think psychologists can solve all my problems. They come to therapy and they think that, like you have this magic wand and then you can solve all my problems. Just answer me, just tell me like what to do, then I can solve my problems. So again, we don't have a list of correct solutions to all your problems. We don't even try to solve your problems. Okay, we just help to increase decision-making, problem-solving capacity, just giving a space to facilitate, the processing of the thoughts and emotions, not to solve your problems. And it helps you, this space is supposed to help you to solve your own problems. Yeah. So that is one of the myths. Any more that you possibly have heard?
Yes, like that, like the main thing is like the mind reading thing. That's like the most popular one. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, and okay, maybe like another one that I get from family and friends is that you're a psychologist, your mental health must be great. Or like you have perfect lives. It must be awesome. I wish this was true. I really do. I wish that my master's degree in clinical psychology can give me a perfect life. Yeah, but I think that we are also human. We experience difficulties, and just like anyone else. And in fact, psychologists often seek psychological support for our own issues to ensure that we can be the best support for our clients. So, rather than your psychologist, you must have perfect life. I think more likely that your psychologist is seeing her own psychologist, to to better support you. Yeah.
I was gonna ask this. I was gonna ask like how do you guys manage your own mental health?
Yeah. So a lot of self-care with the awareness, and of course when I'm not ashamed to say that when we need it, we seek help. I've personally seek help before, and I find it extremely helpful. So there's always things that I can know more, or I can learn more. There's always things that I don't see when it's my own problems, right? It's too personal, it's too close to you. So it's always important to have this space. Yes.
That's nice. Yeah.
Oh, I just thought like the Ali's ex.
Oh yeah, so just recently I guess because we were listening to another podcast, so that host is actually interviewing another clinical psychologist as well. And then it happens to be that podcast host is quite, I guess he is doing really well, like quite rich, and then now like kind of at the level where he has quite a lot of free time on his hand, and then he realized that I guess he heard from his friends that sometimes we don't realize that we have problems. That's why it might just be helpful to just go for therapy. Like even though not knowing what problem like do they have, like have you ever encountered someone like this, or do you think like this is something people should do, or like people should just avoid if they think that like they're okay?
Okay, I think there's a lot of factors that need to be considered before making a decision. So first of all, can you if you feel fine, but you want a space for personal growth, or you want perhaps to understand why I behave this way in certain setting, I'm fine. But maybe when my brother talks to me, I scream at him. But just that. But other than that, my life is fine. You know, like, but why? Why do I behave? Is there something that I want to understand a bit more? Then, yes, you know, go and seek help for, you know, because therapy is not just to fix problems or to deal with serious issues, you know, but it also helps with simple changes, you know, life adjustments, and even individuals who want to purely focus on personal growth rather than a problem. You know, like maybe I find my job not so fulfilling anymore. You know, I want to take a new step. Maybe I want to quit this industry. I want to try something else. I need someone to process this with me. Yeah, so that is also that also warrants a psychological session, like therapy. So does that answer your question? And also there's this factor of affordability, accessibility. You know, am I able to get it? You know, am I able to continue sustaining for it? Do I need it? Or even, because there are many ranges of mental health services, right? There's even counseling, not just clinical psychology, support groups, you know, there are things like that, which people can always start off with if they find that they want to understand themselves a bit more. And it's not so urgent that they speak to a professional. Yeah, I think with the online, with the internet, there's even more, you know, Facebook support groups, you know, there are so many platforms to find information and support.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, okay. I guess that kind of clears up that, you know, mainly that, like, there's quite a huge range of, like, services. So, like, not just limited when I'm, like, really not feeling well, like when I'm feeling okay, but then, like, I have, like, certain questions in my part of my life, like, it's okay to, like, just like ask. Okay.
Correct. So you don't have to have so many sessions or so long sessions, you know, rather you just come as and when you want to talk about whatever that you have in your mind.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think I have one last question, which is sometimes I heard people saying like when they are suffering from their mental health, they don't know who to find. Like, should they go to counselors? Should they go to clinical psychologists? Yeah, or should they just go straight to psychiatrists? They actually don't know what to do. I think like maybe like in Malaysia, because we tend to like self-refer. It's a bit. I think the healthcare system is a bit different compared to the UK, because usually in the UK we go to our GP first before, and they will decide whether you should be referred to any.
Yeah, but I think this. I think that also the question is, how do the people differentiate, right? What kind of services they might need?
Where should they go when they need something?
So in Malaysia, we don't have so many services, but counselors, clinical psychologists, and psychiatrists are the main, you know, frontline for mental health, or for mental illnesses, you know, or for mental health problems, right? So I would say that counselors, you know, they typically assist clients in facing daily emotional and psychological distress. You know, maybe if you have some family issues, some work stress, you know, some feeling lost, need some direction, you know, I think counseling would be a right place for you. Okay, but of course, for clinical psychologists, you know, they specialize more in assessment, diagnosis, providing treatment or therapy for mental illnesses, right? So they specialize a bit more in that aspect, you know, mental illnesses or mental health disorders with behavioral and emotional issues. So if you find that you might not be able to, you have come to a state where you cannot function so well in your life. You know, I find that I don't want to go out with my friends anymore. I cannot function well at work. You know, maybe some part of my life is neglected. I don't do chores anymore. My house is a mess. You know, I haven't showered in days. You know, so when it impairs your functioning, then, you know, you might want to ask yourself, am I struggling with a mental illness? You know, or has it become a bit more intense, more severe, right? Then I would say go for a clinical psychologist. Yep. So then you can get a better idea, a better assessment, better awareness about what the issue is, and then you can make your choice again. Maybe I want to go to a counselor. Maybe I want to continue with the counselor. Sure. And with psychiatrists, of course, these are the doctors, the medical professionals who prescribe medication. And in Malaysia, they mostly prescribe medication. There are some who provide therapy, but mostly, psychiatrists would be a medical doctor rather than a therapist. So with psychiatrists, I would think that they can advise you as well on whether you should see a psychologist or a counselor. And for people who start by seeing a counselor or a psychologist, the counselor and the psychologist can also refer them to a psychiatrist. So it's important for all these three professions to also know each other's, range and job scope and educate the patient to guide them to the right direction. So rather than a GP like in UK, between these three professions, people will, they will refer.
Okay. Yeah, that's some really helpful information.
Okay, so I guess there's no more questions from our side. Anything else from you?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else. So I guess I just really appreciate this opportunity. Very interesting conversations. Very anxious at first, but I think once Marine started facilitating, it really helped. And just want to thank you all for giving me this space and this opportunity to share my thoughts, and I hope that it has been helpful for both of you and also your listeners.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. Like, we get to learn a lot from you as well, especially for me, because I'm not from a psychology background, so a lot of this information are new to me, and then it just opens up my mind in this psychology sector, and I'm like, okay, so there's actually a lot of things going on in this, and then how we can get help and something like this. That's very helpful. Yeah.
Glad you managed to learn something new. Psychology is very exciting. Very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, so usually before we wrap up our episode, we'll share, if we have, we'll share an insight that we have, or maybe, do you have anything this week? Because I don't have.
Yes, I don't really have an insight. I don't have insight that I want to share.
Okay, I don't have. So, Caryn, do you have anything in general that you like to?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be specific to this topic or specific to what happened recently. It's just something that you just think that it might be valuable. You learn that you might be valuable to tell others.
I think as I was sharing my roles and the time management and the energy management with you guys, I think I just want to share with you guys also that fun and play is a very important aspect in our life. And we often leave it behind in childhood. And, it reduces our ability to care for ourselves and our resilience. So it's important to have these two elements in your life: play and fun.
Okay.
Yeah. To promote better mental health.
Amazing advice, definitely. Yeah, that's why I bought a Lego for myself.
It's a great idea.
Okay, then I guess that's the end of this episode.
Yeah, but before that, so let's say if our audience would like to reach out to you, or would like to check out I believe Studio 27, something like that. What's the best way to define it? For some, and which is the way that you're comfortable with?
Okay, I think that they can possibly For studios that 27, you can Facebook us. We have a page. It talks about what social story is. It has a snippet of what the book looks like. So definitely go explore that. And to contact me, probably through my Facebook Messenger. I think I'm comfortable with that. My name is, as it is, Caryn Yeoh, so YEOH. So if anyone, find that they need some insights or some advice, some awareness, some information about their mental health, if they're struggling, or if a family member or close friend is struggling, then, by all means, reach out to me on Facebook. I would respond as and when I can.
Okay. That's great. Okay, we'll get the links from you and then we'll just put it in the description.
Sure.
So that people can just click into it.
That would be more accessible. Very good.
Then I guess that will be the end of this episode. Thank you everyone for listening, and thank you Caryn for sharing a lot with us today as well. Do check out anything if you are interested in, and to contact Caryn if you need any help or any advice. I think that's all.
Yeah, that's it. So yes, thanks everyone for listening, and hope to see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye. Yeah, the outro is not working still. Okay, so let me just end this recording. Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed, do share with your friends and family and leave us a review on the Apple Podcast. If you are not using an Apple device, you can leave a review on the Apple Podcast website with a link in the show notes. If you have any feedback or thoughts which you hope that we'll discuss in the future, feel free to email them to us at hello@incthoughts.com, or alternatively, you can send us a private message on our Facebook, Instagram or Twitter with the username of incthoughtspod. Thanks again, and see you all next week. Bye bye.